Hey y'all, welcome to the Pungo Prairie. Now today we're about 64 miles southeast of Cape Henry aboard my buddy George's 64-foot Viking Sea Lion. We're with Captains Ernie and Matt Bailey and First Mate AJ, along with my buddies Mark and Bruce and John. We're going to be fishing for M&Ms, marlin and mahi, and we're going to take y'all along with us too. So don't go nowhere, because you don't want to miss this.
Good fight.
Now, if there's one thing that my daddy taught me about fishing growing up, it's, son, if you're going to keep them, you better be sure to eat what you catch. Otherwise, turn them loose. And as you can see, we released all the billfish that we caught that day, but we got some big plans for these mahi-mahis, and I'm going to show y'all 3 of my favorite ways to fix them up. Now, Matt and AJ did a great job filleting our mahi-mahis up on the way in the other day, but we got to do a little final trimming here. That dark meat that runs right down the center there, that's got to come out of there. And right along in there, where that line of dark meat is, if you flip it over, you can see there's a line of bones that are going to come right on out with it. So what we're going to do is we're going to use our dark meat for a guide and kind of cut at an angle with our knife back down towards the center. We'll go just like that. We got a nice strip of lean meat, no bones, no dark meat in it. We're going to set that right there. We're going to come over here and do the same thing again, right along down in bones. That strip of dark's out of there, and so are those bones. You see those bones right there? And we're going to do that to each one of our fillets. We'll come right out of there with that one. This is a little thicker one here. And this one here is going to be a perfect one for our pan sear recipe. That's a pretty chunk of mahi right there. Now these pieces that are kind of cut in strips, those we're going to smoke. These two right here, we're going to do a pan sear recipe. And these strips right here, we're going to fry them up pina colada style. This pile of scrap here that we cut all that dark meat, we're going to poach them up just in some plain old water and pick the bones out and feed them to Tally Girl. Now the first thing we're going to do for the pieces we're going to smoke is make us up a semi-dry brine. And that's going to consist of some dark brown sugar, some kosher salt, some fresh squeezed lime juice, and some grandma's molasses here, and a little blend of some spices. Now right here I got some dried dill, some parsley, a little bit of garlic powder, some onion powder, a little bit of ground dried mustard in there, and a little bit of cayenne pepper. I'm going to take and cut our lime right in half here, and I'm going to squeeze some of our fresh lime juice right over top of our fillets. About half of it right there on that side. Kind of spread it out a little bit. Flip them over and squeeze that juice. Now we're going to take our blend of spices and we're just going to put a light little sprinkling of those right on the flesh of our fish. Not too much. You don't want overkill here. Okay, in this little mixing bowl here, we're going to put our rest of our brown sugar, our kosher salt. We're about 2 to 1 on that. 2 parts sugar, 1 part salt. We're going to mix in, I don't know, maybe about a teaspoon of our spice blend, our seasoning blend here. And then about a 1/4 cup of our grandma's molasses. Just going to whisk all that together until we kind of get a paste going on. This molassesly semi-dry brine is an inspiration from my good buddy Captain David Wright of the High Hopes. It's sort of a takeoff on his legendary daddy Dr. Jim's recipe when he used to smoke up fish. Now if you never heard of Dr. Jim, Google him. He used to have a series of fantastic fishing shows where he would travel all over the world, catching everything from halibut in Alaska to mighty blue marlin off the Virginia Capes. And this is going to be the perfect thing, I think, to put on these mahi-mahis and we'll smoke up. And we're just going to take this little spatula here and put kind of a little slathering of our brine right on our fish fillets. Kind of get it as even as you can. It's kind of like trying to spread peanut butter on a hot skillet. David Wright, you're probably laughing at me right about now, aren't you? Yeah, I hear you. I can hear you all the way from the Norfolk Canyon. And we're just going to come over here with a piece of plastic film and cover up our mahi-mahi fillets in this little pan. And we're just going to let our mahi-mahi fillets rest in that molassesly brine in the icebox anywhere from 4 hours to overnight before we put them on our smoker. Now I've had these fillets in the icebox overnight, just so you know. I'm going to just spoon on a little bit of our brine. See how liquidy it's turned from what it was in that paste we put on there. Now I'm going to spray our rack down with a good little misting of some cooking spray here. And we're just going to carefully lay our fillets right on the center of that rack. Get a nice space in between them. They look pretty and they're not even smoked yet. We got our water pan with some nice fresh water in it. It's all heated up to temperature. We're just gonna add a few more of these soaked wood chips right here. Close the smoker door. And we're just gonna give it maybe somewhere between 2 and 3 hours. I'm gonna keep the temperature in that smoker below, just below 200 degrees if I can, somewhere around 190, 195. So we're gonna smoke that fish until it gets an internal temperature of somewhere right about 145 degrees. Well, it's been about an hour and a half. Let's check the progress. We're about 133, 134. Just add a few more chunks of these pecan wood chips to our little wood box here. And we'll check them again in about another 45 minutes or so. And we've done a pretty good job at holding our temperature right about 190. Okay, we're 2.5 hours in. Let's see what we got. $145. Now that we got our little mahi mahi fillets all smoked up, we're going to get ready to fry up a couple pina colada style. Now for this, we've got an egg wash made with just the egg whites. We've got some drained crushed pineapple, some shredded coconut, some panko breadcrumbs, and some seafood breader. This is house Autry. Some coconut real, cream of coconut, some fresh squeezed lime juice, and of course, a shot of some gold rum. We're going to take our lime and squeeze a little bit of its juice right on top of our mahi fillet. Flip it over, get that side. We're going to take our fillet and dip it right into our seafood breader. All right, we'll let that rest there a minute. Take our crushed pineapple and put some of that right in this egg white wash here like so. And then our cream of coconut, about a couple tablespoons. Get all that little stir around in there nice. And now goes our rum. We're going to mix that in there with that cream of coconut, that crushed pineapple, and those egg whites. Now let me tell you about our rum. Besides being the key spirits in any pina colada, what it does in that concoction there is the alcohol helps the moisture to evaporate off at a much faster rate, which yields a crispier fried fillet in the finished product. We're going to take our shredded coconut here and add that right into our panko breadcrumbs. Kind of give that a nice blend. We're going to take our mahi fillet and dredge it through our seafood breader. Get a nice coating. And then we're going to take and dip it right down here in our little pina colada concoction we have mixed up here. Get it coated up nice with that. And then right into our panko breadcrumbs and shredded up coconut. Get it covered nice and even all around. And now we're just going to set our breaded up fillet right down there on that little rack and let it rest for about 15 minutes. Now that our breading has had a chance to rest, we're going to take our fillet and dip it right into our 350 degree vat of peanut oil right there. And we're just going to fry it up till we get a nice golden brown. Give it a flip over. All right. Go right on this little rack with it. Let it rest a minute. Now I'm going to take our other fillet here, squeeze a little bit of lemon juice right on that. Get both sides good. And we'll take a little bit of this Old Bay seasoning right here. Put a very light sprinkling of that on there. Flip it over. Get the other side. Over here, I got some unsalted butter melted up in this little pan with some fresh herbs and some smashed up fresh garlic cloves. When the butter just starts to brown a little bit, I'm going to take our filet here that we seasoned with lemon juice and Old Bay. I'm just going to turn the heat up. I'm going to pan sear it for about a couple minutes on each side. Okay, that should be good on that side. We'll flip it right over, get that one. And after a minute or so there, I'm just going to add a little bit of white wine, cherry wine. Do these peppers, a couple of mushrooms. A few more of these little peppers for color. All right, we'll add a little bit more butter to our pan. Give it about another minute and a half. Okay, we don't want to overcook it. We'll flip it one more time. See where we are. Almost there. One more little drizzle of lemon. Okay. Just going to add our fish right back here to this little dish. Do one more little shot of wine. Turn the heat off and just let it rest. We're going to take our piece of seared mahi and put it right down there like so. Spoon just a little bit of our mushrooms and peppers and butter, wine, lemon sauce right on top. Now, one of the side dishes that I like to serve with a seared fish fillet like this is a nice saffron rice pilaf. Take our pina colada fried piece. We're going to put it right on a nice little bed of greens that I've got a little light Caesar dressing and some blue cheese crumbles, some fresh orange. We're going to garnish that off with some sesame and cashew mix. We got us a nice little chili ginger lime sauce for dipping. Now right here for the fillets we smoked up, we got some Ritz crackers that I spread a little bit of cream cheese on with a few capers. And we're going to take a little chunk of that nice mahi, smoked up mahi, and top it off on that cracker. And that's going to be good. Pour us a nice glass of our dog blue. Dear Lord, thank you for great friends, a great day of fishing, and for providing us with such an abundant catch. Thank you for the deliciousness of these colorful mahi-mahis, and please bless this fish now to nourish our bodies and to strengthen our spirits for a life in thee. Through Jesus we pray. Amen. Now you know I've been dying to dive into this. Take and cut a nice little piece of that smoke right there. Look at that. Right there on that little cracker. Now you know everything goes better on a Ritz. That's good. I've smoked fish. When I Ritz cracker with them little capers and cream cheese, that's a perfect pairing with this Our Dog Blue. That's the ultimate hors d'oeuvre right there. See how this pan-seared one fared. Oh yeah. Nice and flaky and moist. That pan-seared one has a nice, delicate flavor. Just a essence of those fresh herbs with that garlic, a little bit of garlic in that butter sauce, and a little bit of sweetness from that sherry wine. I don't know which one of these I'm gonna like the best. Let's try the pina colada. Look how nice and flaky that meat is. That is awesome. Go right in that little ginger chili lime sauce with it. Now I'm gonna tell you something. That's gonna have old Garth Brooks singing about some pina coladas right there now. That's some Mahi Mahi magnificence. And that, girls and boys, is what's catching and cooking on the Pungo Prairie.